The basic idea is like, in case it's possible or the rope allows it, is the tube method.
And I have the feeling this method works super well with the pinch actually. Another thing I've been told,
What
that's true.
Yeah.
Is maybe it gets the loop a bit more faster used than a biner.
Hi out there, we're in the EDELRID headquarters in Isny in the Allgäu. I'm Daniel, working here in EDELRID in the development department, and today we're here for second round of a pinch talk, and with me is
Séb Berthe. I'm a Belgian climber and working with EDELRID now for a year, and I can't wait to talk about the pinch with you.
Yeah, it would be interesting because you were the first one the first person who I gave it to, external person, and it will be interesting to get a bit of
I had this chance to add this one.
It's not
quite early in the development, so that's...
Usually at that stage of development we don't give samples out, but it was tested definitely for sure, so we were sure that it was safe. But
it's good to know now.
We said give it to Séb and see if it works. We didn't dare to try it internally. And you were new, so not so important.
Yeah, I didn't know anything. I was like just...
So try this.
Perfect. Thank you.
I think something to start with is giving you some feedback about it, or also telling you a bit about the idea of the pinch. I think it makes sense to start with that.
Yeah.
Because the question that was asked right before we started, right, is why does the world need another Belay device?
Definitely.
And this definitely was also one of the questions that we asked ourselves when we started the development. And I think when you watch the market in the past years, you can see that mainly for sports climbing, the sports climbing probably is the fastest growing sector in our applications. Mm-hmm. Definitely bouldering is growing faster, but sports climbing, then this is the point where we sell the equipment. You see that the auto tubes made quite good progress because they're cheap, they're easy to learn, they're exchangeable, they all work on the same principle. Nevertheless, there is, I think, potential for a next device as soon as people get more professional. Mm-hmm. Did you ever use one of the auto tube devices? You know them, like the
EDELRID one.
Did we have the Joule in our?
Yeah, I've tried the Joule and the Mega Joule.
Exactly, and then there was 10 comparable devices on the market.
But definitely I mostly use
the semi-automatic.
Yeah, the semi-automatic devices.
Why you like more?
Maybe it's something like I'm used to it, and
So you've been using the Grigri most of the time?
Yeah, all my life, mostly.
Did you start with a Grigri? What was your first Belay device?
I started with the 8.
Yeah. Yeah, really?
Yeah. I started with the 8, and then the auto tube, ACT and
tubes, tube devices.
And then I switched to the Grigri for a long time.
So early already?
Yeah, quite early. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think I had the Grigri one a long time ago.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's. I think it's probably the device on the market at the moment after, or as soon as you get a bit more experienced.
Yeah. For me, I find it safer to have a semi-automatic one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm quite sure.
On my daily use,
Yeah, and if you compare it with manual devices like the figure of 8 or a tube device, 100% sure we say the manual Belay devices, they totally make sense when you're into multi-pitch and alpine climbing, ice climbing, so that you need them and they will not be replaceable.
Of course, for rappelling down and
Exactly. But for sports climbing, we only recommend brake-assisted Belay devices, no matter if it's an auto tube or a semi-automatic Belay device, or mechanically based semi-automatic Belay device.
Yeah.
But definitely brake-assisted. So this is the when we started the development of this, we don't just want to copy concepts. Mm-hmm. When we come up with a new product, we always try to go a step forward or improve things.
So you didn't want to make something exactly the same. You want to bring something new into it.
I think it would be it's easy to make a grigri in a lighter, smaller version. Like the lifeguard is there. It's a cool device. It works quite well. The repelling function is not perfect, but it's a cool device. But more or less concept-wise, it's a 1x1 grigri and smaller.
Yeah,
And this would not be
makes sense. Yeah.
It's valid. You can do it. The grigri patent, which is actually the patent is quite old. It's more than 30 years old, I think.
Okay.
And so it's expired more than 10 years ago already, and it's based on the excenter principle.
Okay.
So there is a patent of Petzl on the grigri, and it's a I think in climbing history, it's one of the biggest developments in all of
the device or everything.
Everything.
Oh yeah.
I'm quite sure. I think the grigri was one of the biggest developments in the in all of the developments in the climbing history.
Yes.
But I mean, it's also as the patent expired.
Yeah.
It's also in a way professional to use it as the new state of art.
Of course, yeah. Of course.
This is the professional way of how to use it. So we said the patent is free to use, so we can use the excenter principle. And as we see that it works well on many other devices, simply makes sense not to invest a lot of development time and capacity into finding
another way. Yeah,
exactly.
No, that makes sense.
So we based on the excenter principle, saw how small we can get it, and then we tried to find the spots to improve the existing mechanism. And what we found is that, like as I said, for beginners, the auto tubes, they're way easier to learn because the handling of the device is easy.
Nothing.
Yeah, nothing. Yeah, exactly.
Just need to handle the rope. Yeah.
And with such devices, it's a bit more complex. The handling is a bit more complex. If you have really thin new lines, soft ropes, then it's rather easy. But as soon as the rope is a bit older or thicker, the handling is getting more complex.
Definitely.
And so we tried to come up with the same concept, but improve the way
with better handling.
Exactly. Make it easier to learn. And we found that that what makes it especially complex to use grigri devices or something of those kind similar is that they are very flexible because they are linked with the carabiner to the harness. So they are more or less free to move in any direction. Yeah. So on the one side you need to stabilize the device somehow. On the other side you want to keep your braking rope under control. And on the third you somehow need to manipulate the mechanism that you also can feed thick and stiff ropes in a way. And there we said it's probably not based on the device, it's based on how you fix the device to the harness to make it more stable on your body, on your harness, and by that making it
avoid the carabiner.
Exactly. Yeah. That was the
so you can, I guess.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's how indeed it's not moving much. Like
it's
a bit stiffer.
2 joints less, definitely.
Yeah.
The softer the ring is, the more flexible it is.
It's trying with
comparison. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you will see. Yeah, there's.
Yeah, it's definitely more like.
It's 10 centimeter more of distance to your body, and
so that's a thing as well. So every arm slack you give, like it's shorter.
Exactly.
Yeah, so that's something really important as well.
You realize it unfortunately it's a quite common setup that girl belaying is a bit smaller than the guy climbing, and like you will know the situation where you try to pull the rope because you have what's your arm length?
Quite long, 186.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we're
and I'm 178.
Okay, so
plus 8.
Yeah, exactly. So depending on your arm length, you can really pull a lot of rope.
Much, but
belay at the bottom is like needs to pull and pull and pull.
Yeah, I haven't thought much about the arm length for that, but that's maybe why.
Yeah, it makes a difference. It's like the comparison of the arm length climber to belayer. It creates the getting stuck. Yeah,
indeed. That's smart. I haven't thought much about that.
You can even calculate it. It's like when you have as a climber 1 arm length, dependent on the arm length of the belayer, you can prepare. It's 2 feet Or for example, I know that with my climbing partner, I know that I have to do half and then one full.
Oh, yeah, okay,
And this is, and then it's exactly her arm length.
Okay, I see.
So
that's interesting.
yeah, if you want to perfect, like also, it's funny because like we always train the climbing and try to improve climbing, but no one is trying. It's like
to improve the really smooth belaying.
You don't train for belaying, right? That's like something that's a necessary evil. Yeah.
And sometimes that can be like the tiny detail.
It makes a difference. Yeah, it can be
that can be.
And it also, I think you know the situation. Every now and then you have a belayer where you don't want to go to the limits and you feel not 100%. It also day dependent, but like dependent on the how you trust in the person. And then every now and then you have a belayer where you know, okay, now I can. It's the perfect. It's like the rope comes and you directly feel how there is tension on it.
Yeah, no.
It makes a difference. Yeah, how you belay. So we want to. This is the.
So that's indeed like when I compare it with the biner, it's way different. It's moving way less.
Which way do you use it when you belay? Do you use it with a carabiner or always linked to the?
Always linked like this.
Directly.
Yeah. I've never used it like.
You never even tried?
I mean, no, linked to the carabiner, I've never tried. Like,
that's funny. Okay.
I added a carabiner when I was doing some
to safely lock it
or something like, or sometimes. I've used it rappelling down with a biner sometimes.
There it makes sense.
Because it can be a bit like better ending when you rappel down.
You rappel in a multi-pitch.
When you rappel in a multi-pitch or like when the rope are fixed. I mean.
Exactly.
And if you want to go just a bit faster into the changing.
Yeah, when you pass the belay.
Yeah. Otherwise, it's just a bit hard to put it there.
Yeah, because you hang on your belay loop, so that the belay loop is
tight.
Exactly,
Yeah,
and then it's hard to thread it in.
Yeah, definitely. When
this is where I recommend.
When it's like this, you kind of struggle to put it like this,
Yeah, and also.
But it works. I mean,
it's possible.
It's possible, and you save one biner for something else.
True. Yeah, but in the end, this is where I recommend to use a carabiner as well. This is where I'm using a carabiner.
Okay.
Yeah, it's quite funny because
I was wondering the other day when I was doing that in Pic Saint-Loup, like rappelling down ropes, fixed ropes. I was wondering whether you would use it with biner or not.
Even in multi-pitch belaying, I prefer to have the carabiner in between. In sports climbing, when the central loop is free, then it works perfectly. When it's under tension, like when you have a hanging belay and you have your self belay sling in there, and then I mean, if you're attached with the harness, with the rope,
I would put my rope like this, and then my loop is free to belay with.
Okay, then it works. So you don't use the switch self belay sling.
Sometimes, but most often I'm with.
And then but then it's the difference still while you're rappelling.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, it's funny because yesterday I spoke to our Italian guys and they tried it now for some days. They're totally psyched about it and directly went to climbing outdoors with it. And they said they prefer to use the carabiner. They like the idea, they can totally understand it, but still they say, but for them, or for this guy, he said he likes to use the carabiner more.
Yeah.
But that's what was part of our development decision,
that you can also use the biner.
In the beginning, the first prototypes we had, they had only the link to the harness, so you couldn't attach it.
So no holes.
No holes there. Just it was the side shells. They had two hooks that went down like this, and then they matched at the bottom.
Okay.
And you could put a carabiner that way through then. So like you would put it like this to the tying loop, and still you could put the carabiner in there.
Okay.
But then in case you wanted to use the carabiner, the direction would be different.
I see.
And we said this is a risk in terms
definitely.
of acceptance to the people.
Okay.
They might not like it, therefore. So we said we can come up with this concept, but only if we offer the classic alternative in
I
the
see.
same way. And it worked quite well.
No, definitely.
We applied for a patent for this. I really look forward that we get it granted.
When do you have an answer about that?
Depends on how much we push on it. Probably next year. Next year should be the point.
So the thing I've been asked about it is whether like this could open while belaying one day. Is it something you?
We definitely in the risk analyst. This
need to consider it as
absolutely. Well. No, we did. This was also the reason where the decision to make this lip in there.
Okay. The small.
It's only this one.
Okay.
So this is also why we usually put the rope in, and then you go into the central loop from the side, really 90 degrees sideways, close it and then turn it forward. Then it's the easiest to put it into the harness. And now as long as it's like this, really sideways, lock it and then turn forward. This is the recommended handling. And as long as the device is straight, even if you push the button, it cannot open.
I've tried that,
because the lip will directly, or the central loop will directly lock the device again because it's pushing on the lip. So it would need you to slide the device sideways, push it, lift it, and then open.
Yeah.
And even then, if you start to pull, it
get back.
There is no reason for it to go up.
Yeah. But still, if you wanna lock it like properly, you can add the biner.
And it does not even need to be a carabiner like this. It could be a small accessory carabiner.
Really, I've been using this way for rope soloing with a really tiny thing.
Absolutely, and here it can be a cable binder or anything. It just needs to make sure that in case you actually really touch it, it's double locked. Yeah. But this is no need for it. So according to our risk analysis, it's simply not possible to accidentally open.
That's a good.
That's that's at least our analysis shows it. Yeah.
What another thing I've been told. That's true. Is maybe it gets the loop a bit more faster used than a biner. With the teeth. I might, but actually on my harness I haven't noticed much used.
We need to talk about your harness anyway later on, but this we do when the camera is off.
True. I should not talk about my harness in front of you.
We get this question quite a few times now. But all the radiuses, everything that is in touch with the textile, they have really big radiuses, so they're even smoother than the carabiner. I was using it a lot on, that
it's even smoother than a round carabiner. You think?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, cool.
I've been using it on. That it's certified according to the 12.841 to rope access as well. So it's a sports climbing device, 15151/1. That's the semi-automatical belay devices. But we certified it also according to the rope access standards. And so I used it
which is the case from other devices like this, or
there are some work safety devices. I think the rig, for example, the rig or the ID.
The rig must
be. They are work safety devices that are also certified according to the sports standard. But there is only the one device that comes from the sports world that is also certified according to the rope access standard. As far as I know, is the Matic from Camp. I don't know if you've seen it. It's not that
I'm
much.
Not sure I have known.
It's a blue device. And I think this was the first one that was a sports climbing device that also got the rope access standard. But I think it's, as to my impression or to my experience, it wasn't that successful in neither of those worlds. So I was using it on tree care harnesses, and they have these sliding D bridges. Yes. So it's a rope that's connected on the harness, and I directly linked it to the sliding D bridge there to have it as low on the harness as possible. So you have a lot of friction of textile on the metal there, and there's nothing, no abrasion at all. You can see the wear on the metal in the end, but no friction, no abrasion on the textile. So this is absolutely, we made sure that there is no sharp edges or no excessive wear.
That's important.
No, this was 100%. You can see the radiuses even that we added here. Like, imagine you have this carabiner now, so you have a diameter of 10 to 12 millimeter, and it's a round bar, and here you have the big radius coming in here, then it's all straight, and then it's a big radius down here.
So wider.
So in total it's a way bigger element that the textile is wrapped around.
Okay. That's good to know.
Other feedback you got from people or questions or what's the? Do people see it? How do they react on it?
I mean, they're like most people are really interested in it.
Yeah.
Like from what I've had at the crag or something, they're like really curious about things. Yeah, they're really asking.
Okay, cool.
And of course, they're amazed about the thing that you don't need to use a biner.
Do they understand it?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Okay. I mean, they think that we don't use one, and they're like, oh yeah, that's smart.
It's always a bit of a trick thing when you say, here, this is the device, and everyone's, okay, cool device. And say, but look, there's the trick.
Yeah, and then you're like,
ooh.
Yeah, really.
And it's what's quite funny, because every now and then people say, why never ever somebody thought about it?
Because no one, even in a tube, like it doesn't exist.
We did a lot of research on this when we applied for the patent, and we couldn't find a device that had this functionality.
And indeed, now that we have it, it seems logical that
absolutely. Yeah. You open something, put the rope in, and then
put it back in.
And then you need to open something else to link those devices. Why not using the mechanism in the same way?
Yeah, no, that's logical. I don't know.
Yeah, no, it's. I hope that we really invented it.
Yeah.
You never know it. The examiner will definitely find something from the 1930s where someone made
in the valley, maybe Ray Jardin.
Yeah, Ray Jardin had exactly
something weird.
Definitely, Ray Jardin had a cam that you could directly link to your harness.
Oh yeah.
Okay, cool. Mm-hmm.
What else?
You had any problems with it? Something? Yeah, right. So you said we talked about the
anti-panic system. So there is this anti-panic mode there.
Yeah.
And in the beginning, like it would block a bit too fast from what I wanted.
Okay.
It would stop a bit too fast, and I was like, I need to. And then when you get used to it, it's okay.
But you use quite thin ropes, I guess.
Probably it's because of that. Yeah, I don't know.
And you belay Celine with it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. She's not that heavy, probably.
Yeah. So maybe the difference of weights plays a role, and
but
still, I was like, it's a bit too much, and now I don't have trouble anymore because I'm used to the load I need to put into the.
Do you use the override mode? You know this? Do you realize it? There is some. Yeah. Okay.
I don't know nothing about that.
Okay. So when you get to the panic function, and now when you have the situation that the load is too low or the rope is quite stiff or so, then you can override it. So you use the handle like this, then it locks, then it's quite hard to go further down. So the best is to turn the hand around and then further push it.
You can further push it like this.
So you can keep it open in situations where there's only a tiny load on the rope, and then it will always fall into the panic mode, anti-panic mode.
Okay.
So it's part of the concept.
That's
quite
good.
well.
That's good.
And it works quite well. We've been getting some questions about it, or people ask, is it safe? Because if there is a panic mode that you can override, how safe is it? But it's the same functionality that the Grigri Plus is using for the same reason. I bet that they made it by purpose. That in case you have the situation, lightweight climber, a lot of friction.
Still you need really to turn your hand and go far.
It's more or less. It's a question of probability, but like from getting from this point to
this point, you really need to want. You want it.
Not something that will happen accidentally.
No.
And the gap that the anti-panic function is over jumping is quite big, so the lever position totally changes, and then it's also makes sense to change the hand position afterwards.
Yeah.
For this occasion, it makes sense.
That's nice. So I got to also like maybe it got stuck a bit more with wet ropes.
Yeah.
But with any any Belay device, it's tricky with wet ropes. So.
Yeah, definitely. But there, for example, it could also work to use the override move.
How do you call it?
We have no. Yeah, absolutely. Try this one. Yeah. I have to admit that I would need to check the user manual now, how we call the last step. It's definitely an expert use only. Yeah, and now you see how you
need to push more.
Yeah,
nice. I'm struggling to go into that
into position. Yeah, right.
So because I'm used to it.
Yeah, right. Okay. But you see how we really have to pull down.
Yeah, that's fine.
Every now and then it's quite practical to have this
anti-panic. Yeah.
It changes.
I mean, that's the main accident you have with this kind of device, right? Like people who not used to it and like just pull too hard and then they get the end burned and this one and they keep going with.
There are two very typical. I think in German artificial climbing areas, climbing gyms, I think we have still a percentage. I'm not 100% sure of the updated numbers, but it was around 25%. So every fourth accident is a rappelling or lowering accident.
Yeah.
And the very two typical mechanisms that happen there: either people go too fast, and then they lose the control of the braking rope while they burn their hand, or it's simply lose the control.
I had this accident when I was younger.
I think
I burned my hand. I fell on.
Everyone went to this, or every now and then you go through this experience, and this is the one mechanism. And the second very typical mechanism is that you have a kink in the rope. So there is a twist in the rope like this, and it's running into your hand, into the braking hand, and then when the kink, I need to stabilize it somehow a bit. When the kink is running into your braking hand, it can open your braking hand. It plops open your braking hand.
Okay.
And then you lose the control over the braking rope as well. That
goes too fast.
And then it's open, and by reflex you start to pull more. And this is where the anti-panic function will react, lock the rope immediately again, and then it's time to get the thing under control again.
Yeah.
So this is the very typical.
I'm quite convinced that the anti-panic mode is useful.
Absolutely.
Like it's like key, important.
I didn't find any. Actually, it would be good to talk to Petzel, but in our researches, also with German Alps Club safety research, we didn't find any accident with Grigri Plus.
Okay.
No lowering accident with the Grigri Plus, so the anti-panic function seems to work somehow.
So nice. And you still told to me that you can
completely lock it. Mm-hmm. In the final version, like this one, you see the hole in there.
Oh yeah.
In the handle. And it comes with a small screw. It's an M3 screw, I think.
Okay.
You can put it in there, and then when the handle goes back, it hits the stopper on the cam.
And so the anti-panic mode
can't go to the anti-panic mode
anymore.
Mm-hmm.
For people who really don't like it.
It's for the absolutely pros.
Yeah.
Not too many people will.
No, definitely.
Not too many people will need it, and also I think in the anti-panic function, it works quite well. So it's not annoying. It's not something that you want to lock.
No.
But when, like, for example, when we go on alpine routes with fixed ropes where we are training in the route, this is an application where we usually lock the handle and say, okay, then we don't need the anti-panic mode.
That's good.
You cannot fall to the ground. The ropes are always fixed to the next anchor.
Yeah.
You might slide a bit too far, but that's all of it.
That's good to have it in that case. I think.
There are special rope access applications where the anti-panic function causes trouble.
Okay.
Because when you have like icy, stiff, fat, old ropes that are covered with dust, like the worst ropes you can imagine, and you have an anti-panic function, every now and then it's simply impossible to go down.
That's what I had with this like really wet ropes, and it was a bit annoying, but still, I could make it.
This would be the occasion where it would make sense to lock it, but in 999 out of 1,000 climbers, it's the anti-panic function makes sense and is good to have there. Yeah, unless you can override it occasionally, then I think it's not a big deal.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you mentioned okay. This is the right. I wanted to show you the handling, the official handling. You didn't check the videos yet, right? We have some.
You didn't read use. You told about me about it yesterday. About it.
Yeah, right.
I didn't check yet.
So the basic idea is like, in case it's possible or the rope allows it, is a tube method. Tube method means you feed the rope with your braking hand, and with the sensor hand you guide the rope.
And I have the feeling this method works super well with the pinch actually. Like compared to other devices like the Grigri. I would say that it goes easier.
It also comes from the missing joint, because if you can guide the rope like this, you can really wrap it around the device once in a loop, and then it comes out of the device again. Whereas when the device is linked to the harness with a carabiner, it will move, and then it will lock easier.
Okay.
So as the device is a bit more under control, I think it's easier to have the classic tube handling method.
You know, like, for example, with the Grigri, I kind of needed to press on this and it would go.
Yeah.
But with this, I really I don't need to.
It works quite well with many ropes. In case you have a thicker, stiffer rope, older rope,
maybe you would need.
You will need. And there the idea is, as it is fixed to the harness, you don't need to stabilize the device. So the device is already stable. So I don't need to grab the device somehow or hold the device somehow. So in this case, you come from the tube method and then keep the braking rope under control with 4 fingers.
Of course, yeah.
And get the thumb on the lever, only the thumb. And like this, you can pull the rope again.
Okay.
Without needing to get the device under control, because it's stable on the harness while you pull.
Yeah.
And the idea on this as well is that it works as well on the other direction. So in case you're left-handed, you want to use it left-handed, it works exactly the same way.
Oh, yeah.
So that's a bit of the idea of handling the device, or like changing from the tube method to the pinch method.
Okay.
So that's the official instruction for handling the device. That's the way how we try to explain and teach it.
Okay.
Did you try it while lowering? I see you have some wear on the side. You do both.
So
right?
at the beginning I was doing this, but now it's once again a matter of being used, and now I put it into the.
And it works.
And it works good, yeah.
What type of rope are you using? You know.
I have the Swift.
The 48.
Yeah,
the blue or
the
pink.
Blue. The blue.
Okay. Okay.
And I have a pink as well, that I got from.
You like the pink or the blue?
You mean the rope or the color?
In terms of handling. Okay.
No,
It works well?
It's good like this.
Do you wear gloves while belaying?
Not always. No,
okay.
Never. Yeah, I know you.
No, I'm not. It's not even a recommendation.
Is it, or?
I think it's probably more an experience, probably that I'd say, or like probably not only an experience, also a bit like when you get to know a lot of accidents, you research a lot of accidents. There are so many accidents where you find out or you learn, in case Belay would have worn gloves, the accident either would not have happened or would not have been so bad.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, it's like it just adds safety in terms of braking. It's
weird because sometimes I have the feeling like with the gloves I am not like I don't have the same strength on the rope.
Yeah, it will be less, definitely. But
I don't get burned.
It's not. And also the reaction is different. When you have the pure hands, every now and then the reflex is not touching something that is moving, or like grabbing into moving elements or grabbing a moving rope. And when you know there is the protection by the glove, probably the reflex is also different. You know, nothing will happen, so you just grab the rope. And in this case, it would just activate the mechanism, so that you don't need don't need to apply a lot of strength. So.
Yeah.
So it's not it's probably more an experience thing. Yeah. Not really a recommendation.
So what was the idea with the how do you call it?
The braking ribs in the front, the V groove with the braking ribs in the front.
So was there something that you wanted to put it there instead of like
two ideas behind? The one is by the V groove here and the braking ribs, we add another step of braking force, which will increase the tolerance of the lever mechanism. So you have always the sweet spot in which the lever is like from 0 to 100, and the wider the sweet spot gets, like you start here is 0, the rope is not moving at all, and here is 100, the rope is moving freely, and the wider the sweet spot gets, the easier the handling mechanism it gets. So, and by adding a second step of friction in front, we widen the sweet spot.
Of course, yeah.
So this is the one part of the idea. Actually, it's 3 ideas behind, I find. The second idea is that by guiding the rope straight through the device, that it's in a straight line, you can avoid twisting the rope. From the side, if you feed it from the side and it's really coming from the back and it's in one straight kink through the device, it also doesn't twist the device. It works quite well. But as soon as you start to move the rope in this direction, it's already 90 degree, 180 degree in this direction, 180 degree in this direction, and then a 90 degree step in between. So it will start to twist the rope.
To twist the rope. So you would advise to like really lower like this?
If the rope, if it's a really stiff old rope, it will not perfectly work. Then it's sometimes easier just to feed it from this direction, like the very stiff old static ropes or so. I would always feed like this.
Okay, that's good to know.
But a soft thin rope, I would always feed in this direction. Okay. And the third concept is that we need a steel element here anyways. This is made from steel anyways. So in case we guide it purely in this direction, the rope only touches steel elements. So the wear in the device will be lower and you won't have aluminium on the rope in the end. In case you feed it sideways, we would have need to add a steel element here as well to reduce the wear on the side shell, which would make it heavier and expensive. And by this we could make it lighter and cheaper and still have pure steel contact of rope and device.
Okay.
So that's the ideas of feeding the rope. You got the hint from off scene that we have to come to an end.
Yeah, I've understood.
You read it? Yeah, okay. I think if there would not have been the hint now that we have to come to an end, I think the next question would have been rope solo.
Yeah,
but I think we keep this for
the video there,
for a separate topic. I think
one. Yeah,
I told you that we
talked a bit already about ropes,
and
so maybe
we want to handle this topic openly and prepare something on this topic as well.
Maybe we could finish why the pinch exactly, why the name came.
Why the pinch?
I mean, it's quite obvious when you handle it, but still.
Yeah, it's like I have to admit that when we had the development, we wanted to create our, like, on the idea of the grigri in the beginning was to use it in tube method only. This was the concept of the grigri. Then people found it does not perfectly work with stiffened old ropes, so they started to play around. And then the typical French method started to appear, which is this one, pulling the rope like this, which is dangerous somehow.
Not advised.
And then the Swiss climbing gym Gaswerk, they found this method, or they invented this method to grab the lip of the device and then pinch the lip against the handle and feed the rope like this. And this is why, like especially in the Alpine regions, they call it the Gaswerk method, which was not invented by Petzl initially. It was invented in the climbing gym Gaswerk. And we said, in case we come with a device like this, we don't want to call it the Gaswerk method, because it's a different thing, it's a different device, and it's a different method that we want to come up. So we said you need to pinch the thing. You need to pinch the lip against the lever
Okay.
And that's why we said we call it the pinch, because then the method it's there already. It's a pinch method.
Yeah, and also to open it, you need to pinch it, right?
You need to pinch as well. Okay, we can.
It was
no, this was not. No, it was not.
I thought the reason was to open it, you need to pinch. So
no,
like, you know.
No, the idea was that pinch the lip against the handle to fit, and then we could call it the pinch method. And this was actually before we invented the direct connection to the harness.
Oh, okay.
We said no, actually we don't need to pinch it at all anymore. So the name lost its origin a bit.
Okay, but, so the name came from something different than the system of pinching it. That's funny.
But then we liked it already.
Yeah, no, it's a good name.
Keep it as good. It's short. It's pregnant.
It's a good name. In French, I like to joke and call it the pinche.
The pinche.
Because I-N in French is
yeah, right.
So I like to.
But there's no translation for it, right?
No, that's just a funny joke we made to it. Do you have the pinche? Where is the pinche?
The pinche.
But that's something. Yeah.
In German it would be pinch.
Yeah.
You call it the pinch. No, pinch is the pinche. We keep it the pinche.
Yeah.
Okay.
Pinche is good.
Pinche.
No, pinch is better.
Baguette.
Yeah, let's go.
One baguette and one pinche.
Yeah.
Hey, nice.
Cool.
Séb, many thanks for the talk. Hey.
Thanks to you.
Cool talking to you. Hey, and looking forward to play a bit on the tower.
Let's try it on the tower.
Try to get it to its limits.
Perfect.
Thanks. Okay, then go back to the tower. Cool.
Yeah.